There is a primary division between two body fluid compartments, the intracellular fluid ICF and the extracellular fluid ECF. The ICF represents all the fluid in the cell, whereas the ECF represents everything outside the cells. They are separated by the semi-permeable plasma membrane that surrounds the cell. The semi-permeable membrane allows fluids to flow in and out, but prevents unwanted molecules or material from getting in. The ICF contains a high concentration of potassium ions and low concentration of sodium ions and chloride ions compared with ECF. This concentration is maintained by the sodium-potassium pumps in the plasma membrane, which actively transport sodium ions out of the cell and potassium ions into the cell. Intracellular fluid. It contains water and dissolved solutes and proteins. The solutes are electrolytes, which help our body functioning properly. The electrolyte is an element or compound that when dissolved in fluid can break up into ions. There are a lot of electrolytes in the cell, but potassium, magnesium, and phosphate have the highest concentrations. When water moves inside and outside the cell, this process is called osmosis. The osmotic pressure is the force that pulls fluid from one compartment to another. The level of osmotic pressure remains approximately equal between the intra and extracellular fluid compartments. Osmotic pressure can also be defined as the attraction of water to solute or electrolytes. Intracellular fluid accounts for approximately 2/3 of the body's water. The positive ions. Potassium is an essential mineral into nutrients, and is the primary intracellular ions for all types of cells. It is critical in maintaining fluid and electrolytes balance in the bodies of humans and animals. Potassium is necessary for the function of all living cells, and is thus present in all plant and animal tissue. Potassium is the major cation inside animal cells, while sodium is the major cation outside the animal cells. The difference between the concentration of these charged particles causes a difference in the electric potential between the inside and outside the cell, known as the membrane potential. Ion transporters maintain the balance between potassium and sodium in the cell membrane. Some potassium channel structures have been dissolved, including voltage-gated. The cell membrane potential created by the potassium-sodium ions allows the cell to generate an action potential. The ability of cells to produce electrodischarge is critical for body function, such as neurotransmission, muscle contraction, and heart function. Sodium as a nutrient is generally needed in a large amount by animals due to their use of it, generating of nerve impulse and for maintenance of electrolyte balance and fluid balance. In animals, sodium ions are necessary for heart activity and certain metabolic functions. The health effect of salt reflects what happens when the body has too much or too little sodium. The magnesium ion functions in the sodium-potassium pump and aids enzymes. It also plays a role in the muscle contraction and cation potential conduction. Chloride, protein, bicarbonate, and sulfate are negative ions that are present in the extracellular fluid. Chloride ions works alongside sodium and help regulate osmotic pressure difference in fluid compartments. It is also essential in pH balance. Protein carries many functions within the cell, such as structural support and movement, enzymatic activity, and outside environment interaction. Bicarbonate functions in vital component of the pH buffering system. Sulfate is a component of proteins and amino acids.
Ohm's law and its real-life applications. Some history about the Ohm's law is that it was found by George Simeon Ohm. In 1826, he discovered the relationship between current, voltage, and resistance. Next, we're going to talk about Ohm's law. It is the law that for any circuit, the electric current is directly proportional to the voltage and is inversely proportional to the resistance. Down in the photo shows the Ohm's law triangle V stands for volt, I stands for ampere, and R stands for ohm. Volt is a unit of electrical pressure required to force 1 ampere through the resistance of 1 ohm. Ampere is the unit of electrical current that will flow through 1 ohm under a pressure of 1 volt in 1 second. Ohm is a unit of electrical resistance, the resistance through which 1 volt will force 1 ampere. If 2 of the values in the triangle are known, the third can be found. One real-life application for Ohm's law is the electrical heater. The electrical heater is a commonly used appliance in winters. Provided with the resistance of the heater coil and applied voltage, we can calculate the power supplied to this heater by using Ohm's law. Another real-life application of Ohm's law is selection of fuses. Fuses and circuit breakers are the protection components which connect in series with electronic devices. The current rating of the fuse is calculated by using Ohm's law.
Another real-life application of Ohm's law is the design of electronic devices. These electronic devices, such as laptop and mobile phones, or even a TV, can require a DC power supply with a specific current rating. A resistor is used to control the rate of current flowing through these components. The Ohm's law is used to calculate the rating of current, which should be used in a typical circuit. Another application is the sizing of resistors in consumer electronics. The electronic components such as normal power supplies, uninterruptible supplies, iron, kettle, televisions, and similar components use a lot of resistors for their control purposes. The last real-life application of Ohm's law is speed control of conventional fans. The speed control of conventional fans is achieved by using a potentiometer. A potentiometer is a variable resistance. A circular knob on the component can be rotated to achieve a variable resistance on the output terminals. For any specific value of the input, we can calculate the resistance, current, and thus power flowing through Ohm's law.
Thank you for watching our video on Ohm's law and intracellular and extracellular electrolytes.